Good evening. Welcome to 365 Days of Stories with Theo Mayer. Tonight, I'm telling the story. I tried this morning to tell the story of Kupti and Imani, but the place that I was trying to record was so noisy with airplanes going overhead that I couldn't do it. I did it, but it was not good. So, Day 26. The story of Kupti and Imani, two sisters who were the daughters of a king. Kupti, the eldest, Imani, the youngest. The king loved his daughters like nothing else and would spend hours being with them and talking with them, trying to share wonderful things with them, stories, teachings. Loved them dearly, showered them with everything that he possibly could. Well, it turned out that one day he wanted to see how he could help them just that much more. And he went to Kupti and he said to her, "In whose hands would you put your future?" And she said, "Well, Father, of course I would put my hands in my life in your hands. Your decisions have always been the best for me, and so I've always counted on you to do everything that has brought me nothing but good." Hold on one second. I've got a wood-burning stove going here and water starting to make way too much noise. Well, he posed the same question to Imani. "In whose hands would you like your future to be put?" She said, "Well, Father, the truth is that I would like to create my own future and be responsible for it." Now, Kupti's answer, he loved. He loved that Kupti would like him to oversee many of the most important things in her life. But Imani's answer, well, that just didn't quite suit him because he wanted to be the important person in both of their lives. So he said to Imani, "I don't think you really know at this point in time, because you are so young, what it would be like be trying to seek your own fortune. But since that is your decision, I will support that for you. And you can see how it goes." So he had brought to the palace an old fakir who lived in a small little hut in town. And this old man came and the king said, "You know, I'm sure at your age and being in the condition that you are," because he was somewhat crippled. He couldn't get around the way he once could. The king said, "I'm sure in the condition that you are, you could probably really use somebody to be of service to you. And my daughter is looking to be, well, to be seeking her own life, and I think it would be a good place for her to start to help you out." Now, the fakir couldn't really say anything to the king about what he had just decided because it's the king. You got to go along with what he says. So he didn't complain in the least, even if he felt that it wasn't maybe the best. So off the fakir went with Imani. Now, Imani was perfectly happy to go off with the old man and to begin a life that was free and that was up to her to see what could happen. So off she went, skipping down the road with this old man. And as the old man is approaching his hut, he's going like, "How am I going to take care of this princess? I don't even have any place where she can sleep." Because all he had in his little hut was a bed and a couple of cooking pots and a stool and a table. That was it. He was worried about this, and he gets to the hut, and in they go, and Imani is immediately, she goes to the old man and asks, do you have any money? And he says, oh, I believe I have one copper piece somewhere. Imani said, well, could you please find it? And he looked and looked, and eventually he found the copper piece, and he said, here it is. She said, let me have it to go buy some things in town. And while I'm in town getting these things, could you please borrow a loom and a spinning wheel? And the old man was like, oh, okay. So off he went round to his neighbors to ask if he could borrow both a loom and a spinning wheel. And as he did this, Imani went into town. And what did she buy? Well, she bought a measure of oil, and then with the rest of the money, she bought a good amount of flax. She took these home. Now, the old man by this time had returned, and he had a beautiful but old spinning wheel and a loom that needed a little bit of work, but would do. And he presented these to Imani. And Imani put the flax in a corner, had the old man sit down on his bed, and rubbed his crippled, damaged leg, especially his knee, for about an hour. And after she had finished, she got the flax and began to spin a thread from the flax. Now, in our day and age, we call the fabric that you would get from flax rami. It makes a beautiful fabric. And here Imani began spinning this beautiful silvery piece from the flax. And after she had finished, which she was at it all through the night, first thing in the morning, she sat up on her loom and began to create a piece of fabric from the flax that she had spun into thread. And back and forth, the little car of the loom went. She had fixed the broken pieces to the loom. On and on she went, hour after hour after hour. And by the time she was done, which was late in the afternoon, she had created a beautiful, beautiful piece of fabric. And it was a piece that you could drape around your neck, over your head. It was the most beautiful silvery gold color. She took it off her loom and she asked Fakir to take it into the marketplace and sell it, even though it was late. And so he did. And he asked, as he was leaving, how much he should sell it for. And Imani replied, well, 2 gold pieces. He was off. He went to the market. And who should go by but Kupti? And she saw this piece of fabric, this garment, so beautiful, so well done. She asked, how much? And the old man said, 2 gold pieces. She said, happily, I'll pay that. So she handed the old man 2 gold pieces and he went home. And Kupti took the garment, not knowing that her younger sister had made it. Well, each day Imani would take about a copper's worth, a copper coin's worth of money, and into town she'd go and buy some oil for the old man's leg and buy enough flax to spin and then weave a new garment. And each day the old man would go into the marketplace to sell whatever she had made. Now, I will tell you that over time, that town became very well known for the beautiful work that Imani did. And the old man's leg got much better and stronger. And there was a box where Imani kept all of the gold pieces that she had made from selling her beautiful fabrics. And that box became full and over full of gold coins, to the point where Imani, she turned to the old man one day and she said, you know, I think we should live in greater comfort than this. And she called some builders in, told her what her plan was, and had these men build the most beautiful, beautiful home. Beautiful landscaping around it. Oh my. If we were to have ever gotten the chance to go into this house, we would have been awestruck. Well, Imani and the old man, when it was done, moved into this new and much more comfortable house. And news, of course, spread through the town and eventually to the king that this beautiful mansion had been built. There was nothing else like it except the palace itself. It was really the only thing that was nicer than the house that Imani had built. And landscaping around the wall, oh, staircases, porticos, beautiful stonework. Anyway, the king wanted to see and find out who had done it, and found out, oh my gosh, it was his daughter. He said, well, she wanted to seek her own fortune, and it seems she's done very well. He did go by in his carriage once, did not disturb her. He had not gotten an invitation, but he wanted to see what had been done, and it was indeed very, very beautiful. Now, it turned out that the king had to go off to another country to do some business, and he decided to ask Kupti what she would like him to bring back. She asked if he could bring back a necklace of rubies, which the king happily agreed to do. And the king thought, I should ask Imani as well. And so he had a servant go to Imani and find out what she would like him to bring back. He arrived and he bowed to her and he asked, your father's going away and would like to know what he could bring you back. Well, Imani was in the midst of undoing some knotted thread in her loom, and without even looking at the servant, she said, patience. Now she had meant, please wait while I get this knot out, and once I have the knot out, well then I can, think about the answer to this question. But the servant, getting the answer, thought, oh, that's what she wants, patience. So he went back to the king and told the king that Imani wanted patience. He was like, patience? That's quite interesting. I'll do my best. And off he went to this other country, the country of Dur. Now, we'll find out what happens in the country of Dur with the king and see if he is able, in fact, to come up with the ruby necklace and patience. So, hope you enjoyed watching. Join tomorrow and you'll find out what happens next with Kupti and Imani. Okay. Have a good rest of your evening or day, whatever it may be.